Hey guys, Doman here with another video for you guys on the Star Citizen history. So now we'll look at another alien race called the Xi'an. So we'll look at what they do, what their history is with the UEE and all that sort of stuff. So let's have a look at what they're about and try and learn some more about the Star Citizen verse together. The Xi'an, pronounced Xi'an, Empire is a heraldry absolute monarchy located along the border of the Eastern Systems. It comprises at least 14 known systems and is governed by Emperor Krei. The Emperor has a high council of advisors, each representing a facet of the government. The title of Emperor passes down through the family line. A similar government structure is found on each Xi'an-controlled planet, with every planet council member reporting to their respective counterparts, the Emperor's Council. The Xi'an are the masters of diplomacy in the Star Citizen universe. They are patient and refined, but can and will throw down if the situation calls for it. They live for centuries. For this reason, propagation of species is carefully monitored and directed by the government to prevent overcrowding. While their placid demeanor can often be interpreted as aloofness or apathy, their long lifespan means they act with decades in mind, not years. The Xi'an are the second alien race to be discovered by the UEE, the first being the Banu. History: Cold War, 2530 to 2789. The Xi'an Empire became known to humans in 2530. When the Gaia Planet Services attempted to terraform a planet without authorization. Turns out the planet wasn't uninhabited. A new race later discovered to be the Xi'an Empire showed up while the terraformers were building the equipment. This encounter immediately escalated to a 259-year Cold War, from 2530 to 2789. In the darker era of human history, the Imperator and the government often use Xi'an threats as a means to terrify their own citizens and swell the power of the military. Although neither side declared open war, there was many casualties on both sides, from covert operations, sabotage, and espionage. The Xi'an from that era are still alive, such as Krei, the current emperor who negotiated the daring peace accord with Senator Akari in 2789. The Xi'an and humanity have had a tumultuous relationship over the years, while the Xi'an have generally regarded humanity as short-sighted and contemptuous. They have acknowledged our capacity to destroy and have been treating us accordingly. While their technology might seem superior to ours, it certainly looks nicer. Most of it is simply due to alien origin. Our two civilizations are on a relatively equal technological footing. The ability for mutual annihilation is probably what kept either side from attempting an all-out attack. The Perry Line, 2789. A line of systems that acted as a no-man's land between UEE and Xi'an. These systems, Tohil, Oya, and Gurzil, Horus, Pallas, Hadar, Indra, and Virtus became known as the Perry Line. After the peace treaty of 2789, the Perry Line was divided between UEE and the Xi'an, with Torhil, Oya, Gurzil, and Horus going to the UEE, and Pallas, Hadar, Indra, and Virtus going to the Xi'an. Present. Relations with the Xi'an have warmed over the centuries, but it would be difficult to call them friendly without a slight hint of sarcasm. Guarded is probably a more accurate term. There are undoubtedly members of the Xi'an government who still regard the UEE with suspicion and distrust. The current Imperator has always been clear that the futures of our two nations are intertwined. As more human corps enter into tech exchange deals with the Xi'an companies, apparently they feel the same. Personality. To humans, Xi'an culture can seem rigid and lifeless. A majority of that is artifice. The Xi'an present themselves as polite but neutral, particularly to those they have never met before. This is an age-old socializing testing mechanism. They approach a person with a blank slate and let the other person set the tone, or tips and hints his head, as how the interaction will progress. If the Xi'an feels comfortable with a contact, they'll begin to lose the artifice and relate on more of a personal level with humans. It takes a little longer. As we said before, a lot of them remember the Mesa era. There is a definite us versus them mentality with the Xi'an society. They will not hesitate to take another Xi'an side over the outsider unless definitive evidence is presented to support the outsider's claim or accusation. It is not unusual to see Xi'an within UEE space, usually falling into three categories: visiting Xi'an businessmen or dignitaries as described above, younger Xi'an who haven't quite settled into the Xi'an culture, and expatriates. There are those within the Xi'an Empire who felt their way of life is too stifling, and welcome humanity's childish emotions as a breath of fresh air, and expatriated into the UEE. Some went through an arduous process of becoming citizens, while others enjoy relaxed civic responsibilities of civilian life. Military service. Service in the military is compulsory for every male and female of the Xi'an Empire. After an obligatory term of service, 15 Earth years, is one of the branches of military Xi'ans are considered to be reserve members for the rest of their lives. The standing Xi'an armed forces consist currently of over 16 million members, not including the civilian populace, all of which effectively have combat training. While not inherently aggressive or expansionist in their nature, the Xi'an's history is rife with civil war and power struggles. However, over the last 500 years, the Xi'an have adopted alternate methods of warfare, preferring subtlety and manipulation to avert conflict. Xi'an influence is suspected in the revolution and subsequent overthrow of Imperator Messer No. 11 in 2792. Xi'an ships. The He Cathol, the capital ship, cargo ships, transport ships, Oracle-class carrier, Link, and Developer. Ships with Xi'an technology in them are the Karthwal, the Reliant, and the Freelancer. Star systems. There are currently 14 known star systems in Xi'an territory: Virtus, Ilias, Elsin, Rahala, Karabe, Kefar, Markahil, Tal, Pallas, Arukka, Hadar, Indra, and name not yet specified. Do apologize for some of my pronunciation through this. I probably butchered a couple of those systems' names. So yeah, sorry about that, folks. Language. Xi'an literally means hello and greetings with peace. This is a formal greeting and meant to be only used among close friends, or with trusted business partners, or in the hope of establishing a bond. Use this phrase in casual manner, or when approaching a situation with tension or duplicity, will immediately marginalize you in the Xi'an's eyes. One could argue that it's a pledge of truth and honor as much as a greeting. Check. A casual hello, to be used among peers or to subordinates. Use of this phrase from a subordinate to a superior Xi'an will cause offense. Athri Kor, safe travel. A formal goodbye, roughly the equivalent of Godspeed in ancient Earth seafaring days. Gath, casual goodbye. A majority of the Xi'an can be quite forgiving when it comes to minor social infractions. They understand that, the more often than not, it is not intentional and appreciate the effort to learn their customs. But if you find yourself offending a Xi'an, you won't have to worry. They won't get angry or try to kill you. The Xi'an find such displays of emotional to be immature. They will simply shut down and become curt, succinct, and interactable. Most of these social rules only apply to the first several meetings. Once the bond or trust of friendship is established, the Xi'an are quite forthcoming and relaxed. Religion. No official religion. There are scattered belief systems, but they tend to offer moral guidelines or promote universal spirituality rather than worshipping a specific god. Crime. There is less crime per capita in the Xi'an Empire than in the UEE, but it still exists. The Xi'an pride themselves on having dignified criminals, since acting from emotion is seen as a sign of weakness and immaturity. So criminals within the Xi'an Empire are similar to the syndicates within the UEE, sprawling, disciplined organizations whose business happens to be a crime. There are Xi'an pirates and smugglers, but they tend to be younger, still in their rambunctious phase of life. These pirates will usually hunt in UEE territory, but they will rob their own kind of cargoes if the time is right. Diplomatic status. With the Banu, they are friendly. The Karthak, tense, formerly at war. Their existence was only discovered recently. The closest Karthak-controlled system lies on the other side of the Xi'an Empire. We know very little about them. The Xi'an weren't keen to share the two civilizations, have a unresolved tension, sprawling from a multi-century conflict called the Spirit Wars. United Empire of Earth. Neutral, formerly hostile, trading. Formerly hostile, but friendlier now, the UEE has made great strides to try reconnect with the Xi'an after a tension of the Mesa area, comparable with the United States Cold War with the Soviet Union. They were the boogeymen. As such, the UEE endorses healthy trade across the borders, but old habits die hard. While the UEE is diplomacy friendly, the Xi'an are heavily armed and organized civilization with long lifespans. We aren't going to abandon our defenses just yet. The Vandal. Indifferent, but not welcome. While the distance plays a factor, there are a lot of unfriendly systems between the Vandal and the Xi'an. Their limited contact has not been particularly fruitful. Some clans have established tentative trading relations, but the majority of Vandal regard the Xi'an as manipulators and cowards, while the Xi'an view the Vandal as short-sighted and barbaric thugs. So that should cover the Xi'an. My voice started to go there a little bit. There's a lot of information here. So yeah, the Xi'an are a pretty interesting race, and they're going to be a lot of fun to interact with. I can imagine they're going to be very slow and paced when we do interact with them. When you talk to a Xi'an, you'll probably want to think about what your next response will be and things like this, or they might just shut down and walk away from you and that'll be it, because the way they look at us is the sort of like the way we look at pirates, I'd say, or hoodlums or something. They look at us like as if we are about to start another war any second, like they think that we're highly explosive and volatile, and we think that they're slow and cunning. So yeah, it's very interesting. Our first contact with them was in 2530. We don't know what their home planet is. We know they have 14 systems, and yeah, they're a pretty interesting race in the game. I am going to enjoy interacting with these guys when we get the chance, and yeah. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been another Star Citizen History video. I'm going to try to do as many of these as possible and whatnot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, so much for supporting the channel. The subscribes, the likes, and the comments all really do help. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so you know the drill, Commanders. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.